Annalie Reyes.
And your host, Santi Hernandez.
And your co-host, Javier Vicuna.
On today's show, we will be talking about resources for sexual health that are available near you. We will be talking about Planned Parenthood, Marin Community Clinic, Novato Teen Clinic, and Huckleberry. We will also be talking about what consent and what is not consent, the use of condoms and birth control, and how can you approach your partner and ask if they've been tested, and we will be talking about STDs.
Yes, and I'm going to be sharing the quote of the week. And part of my quote goes with what we're going to be talking about, and it's consent. So remember that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. So basically how I take that is that no one can force you to do things you don't feel ready to do. Whether that's even the slightest thing with a guy or a girl, you should always make sure that you're comfortable with it 100%, not a 99.9%, if that makes any sense.
You always have to be 100% sure. And that's I like the point that you're bringing up.
And it shouldn't be like someone's forcing you or someone has to convince you to do something. It should be voluntarily coming from you. So that is a quote that I wanted to share with you guys today. With that being said, though, do you guys want to add on to that?
I think it was very straightforward.
Yeah.
And I like how you mentioned about that. And I'm actually excited for us to talk about consent because there's so much stuff to learn from and to learn what is not consent. And I'm excited about that part.
And just being mutually understanding about like the both of you for consent, right? Like before you go through with anything. You can kind of think about it like when you tell someone you love them, right? That's like a big thing, right? Like when you tell someone like you love them and you've been in a relationship with them and you've been seeing them, it's kind of the same with consent too, because both of you need to mutually feel it, like mutually understand that this is how we feel about that. So that's kind of how I've seen consent as well. But go ahead, Kimberly.
Yeah. I was just going to say thank you for the quote, and now Annalie would start us off by talking about Novato Teen Clinic.
Yeah, so we mentioned that we were going to be talking about resources for sexual health, and if you live in Novato or around Novato, you can go to Novato Teen Clinic. Since we're in a pandemic, they are only accepting appointments, and the appointments will most likely be online. But if there's certain stuff that you need to do, like for instance, an IUD placement or a Nexplanon placement or depot injection, that would be an in-person appointment. And you can make this appointment by call or text or visit the website at Novato Teen Clinic, and the phone number is 415-985-5012. And you can text or call them Monday through Friday. And I really like that they have the option of texting, so it can be not that intimidated to ask for help. And I did wanted to say that they do offer different sources for ages 12 to 25. They do speak Spanish as well, and they are willing to help. They also offer counseling, mental health counseling, and they do have screenings. For you to be screened if you have to see if you have depression, anxiety, risk of suicide, and substance abuse. They also offer free tests for pregnancy, STI, and HIV, which I think it's very useful just for health purposes and protecting yourself. And they do also provide pelvic exams if people are experiencing period problems or other symptoms. So this is actually a real clinic. It's professional, and they do offer confidential services. So I think you guys should not be intimidated to ask any questions. They're willing to help. And you can always text them if you have a certain question that you feel kind of awkward asking your parents. And I'll say the number again. It's 415-985-5012. And that's it from Novato Teen Clinic.
Thank you for sharing. Those are all very important services, especially for young teens who are learning about kind of your body and health in general. So not just about sexual health, but like you said, mental health, depression, and especially for young women who go through periods. Most women know that it's very painful. So if there are resources for women to, for young women to find help, that's really awesome. So take advantage of those resources that are here for you. But now we're going to go with Javier, who's going to be sharing more about the Huckleberry Teen Clinic.
Thank you, Santi. So the Huckleberry Teen Clinic is open every Tuesday from 1 to 4:30 p.m. And it's located at 361 3rd Street, Suite G in San Rafael. So that's just in the Montecito Plaza. The Montecito Plaza is right next to the San Rafael High School, and there are many services and supplies available at this clinic. They give out different types of birth control, such as the pill, patches, rings, shots, implants, and IUs. They can also do STI testing, so for chlamydia and gonorrhea, which is done through a urine test, and HIV and syphilis, which is done through a blood test. They also provide safe sex supplies such as condoms, dental dams, and lubricant, as well as providing menstrual supplies such as pads, tampons, liners, and wipes. All of these supplies and services are all free and confidential, and you can either drop in or register an appointment in advance by texting 415-919-7665 to reserve your spot. This is it's a confidential service, so you can just drop in or call them when you want. But other than that, that's kind of Huckleberry. I don't know if you guys ever been to Huckleberry. Have you guys been to Huckleberry before?
No, but I've heard of it, and I like how they offer menstrual like pads and stuff like that, because I feel like it's very helpful. I like from my previous work at Whole Foods, they would offer like pads on the bathroom. Like they would offer free pads for the workers, and I thought that was very helpful and convenient. So I really like the idea of like showing support, I guess. So
yeah, the only experience I had with Huckleberry was at Terra Linda High School. My freshman year, if I'm correct, they had a representative from Huckleberry come and talk about basically safety for all types of health. So like safety and resources. Basically.
Yeah, same. At my high school, they just brought in someone from Huckleberry and taught us about safe sex and consent and like the basics, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like
it's a class too. You have to take it.
Yeah, it's sex ed.
Yeah, sex ed.
Yeah. Every high school has a sex ed class, and they always bring in Huckleberry.
Yeah, Huckleberry is like
come
the main
in
one. Yeah,
and just like talk about it.
I remember there's also like sex ed in 5th grade and middle school.
Oh yeah.
That happened to you guys too?
Yeah, I had.
Yeah, I don't remember.
No, I remember 5th grade. They were more talking about like periods and what happened. You like, yeah.
And then I remember, I think it was 7th grade for me. They like showed a video of a woman giving birth.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
I watched that in high school.
Did you go to Davidson?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they did show that.
No
they showed
way.
Literally the
They
baby coming out of
Really?
there. Yeah,
I watched that in high school.
Really? No, we
Yeah.
watched it in middle
think-
school.
yeah.
I remember.
I think where I got more information about all health in general was in high school. The mandatory health class. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's Huckleberry. So you've probably heard the name before, but they're a really great resource because, again, if you ever find yourself like in an emergency as well, like that you find out you're pregnant or that you need like some condoms for free, you can get them at the clinic on Tuesdays.
Wait, you can get like pads there
Yeah.
for free?
Mm-hmm. Everything is free and confidential.
real?
Everything that I listed out from Huckleberry.
real?
Yeah. So you don't have to go to like Target and buy all these things.
But I don't think, like, do they give you like an actual good amount?
I'm not sure about that.
That would be an awesome question. If you guys know, leave them in the comments.
Yeah. But
Not if then we're...
Or if Huckleberry is watching this.
Yes, Huckleberry. Please.
yeah, they're a great service. And again, it's just nice because they're local here in San Rafael, and they're right next to next to the Chipotle. Like if you know where the
Yeah, they're in
Chipotle is,
Montecito.
yeah, in Montecito, it's like right next to it. So
Yeah.
Very easy to find. But yeah, other than that, we're going to go right back into a PSA and we'll be right back.
Wildfire season is here again. Pacific Gas and Electric will turn off electricity when there is extreme fire danger to reduce the risk of wildfires. Marin residents need to be ready in case of prolonged power outages. First, you can sign up to get notifications about planned power outages. These will tell you when the power outages are likely to happen and how long the power will be out. To receive notifications, text your zip code to 888777. Second, be sure to have a working flashlight, enough food and water for 3 days, and other necessary items stored in your house and or your car. Third, learn about how to prepare to keep your family safe in case of a wildfire or extended power outage. See emergency preparedness information on the readymarin.org website. Please text your zip code to 888777 to get on the alert system today.
Welcome back, and now I'm going to be talking about Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is a nonprofit organization that provides reproduction health care. It is on 2 H Street, San Rafael. Their phone number is 415-459-4907. They are open till 9 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. The service that they provide are they give abortions, birth control, HIV services, LGBTQ services, men's health care, morning after pill, pregnancy testing, STD testing services, and women's health care. They are an affordable health care that and the nation's largest providers of sex education. With or without insurance, you can come in for your health care. Sorry. You're able, right now they're only doing appointments, but you can set an appointment whenever you like. And yeah.
All right, great. So that's like I think it's a fairly new building that opened up. Planned
I don't
Parenthood.
have a lot of information. I haven't heard a lot of information of Planned Parenthood.
I think they've been,
It's been
the
open for a while?
organization has been around for a long time.
Oh, okay.
But I think the building in San Rafael is kind of new.
Okay. Because I remember seeing it before, but I know what you're talking about.
They don't have like a big sign or anything.
No, it's just kind of like...
I've seen it before. It's like on a corner and there's like no sign. It's literally just a building. It looks like it's empty. But it's like their service.
Their service, yeah.
But they have like no sign.
I got you.
Yeah.
No, but I see that they offer like a lot of services, which is great because I see like they have men's health care, which I feel like not really, it's like promoted from clinics and stuff like that. So I think that's good. And also like the LGBTQ services as well. So
Yeah, and they also offer like mental health services as well.
yeah. So
Yeah. And I heard that if you need a morning after pill or something like that, all you need is that one card that shows your health insurance.
It's just like a health insurance.
Your health insurance card?
Yeah, it's your health
Medicare?
insurance. Yeah, your
Medicare?
Medicare card.
Yeah, Medicare card.
And you show
Medicare.
it and they're most likely to give it to you.
Okay. So it's
Interesting.
covered by Medicare.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Most
Yeah.
of their services are provided by your insurance company.
Oh.
Interesting.
All right.
If not, I heard that it's like between like $30 for like testing of any sort of like STD or something.
Yeah.
It's like around $30 to $400, but normally it's just like $30 if you don't have insurance.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm going to talk about Marin Community Clinic, which is actually right down the street from where we are, which is awesome. And I've been going to Marin Community Clinic since I was a little girl. Very small. But I'm going to be talking about the resources you guys can, if you're at home, what you can do is I would love for you guys to search up marinclinic.org, and I'm going to guide you guys right now to talk a little bit about the resources that they have. So if you open the website, you want to click on resources, then click on group calendars. And when you do that, it's going to give you a list of events or things that are happening during the week, and you can go to these. So for example, on Tuesdays, there's the Huckleberry Teen Tuesday. So they provide, again, resources for teenagers who can come to them. and they give information. Okay. And then there are also days where they have stress reduction. And then there are groups where you can go to managing physical and emotional pain. So those are some that you can see on the calendar, and it changes every week. So you guys can always see what type of events or groups you can join into. And then now if you go and click on services and you click on family planning, you will see that there is the STI clinic. And basically it gives you information about if you want to be tested on HIV or STDs. There's a drop-in on Mondays and Thursdays from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. So if you go, you can get tested for any of those. And they have a lot of screenings and stuff. And then they also provide free condoms, and they provide a lot of information about birth control, right? So if you are someone who, doesn't have a lot of information about birth control, because there's so many different types of birth control, is super important for you to talk with someone so they can guide you which is the best option for you, because not everybody is the same body. So one birth control doesn't mean that it works for everybody. Just to emphasize that. And then you can also click on addiction and recovery for other services to support teenagers and adults on mental health and depression. This one is a huge one for me, because if you're someone who's currently going through a hard time, and you need someone to talk to, you can go to the Marin Community Clinic and get in touch with them. And if you want to book an appointment, you can call the number at 415-448-1500. And they basically, it's basically our community clinic. So most of the things, if you go there, are not super expensive, right? So if your insurance covers it, if you have an insurance card, most of the services that they provide will be covered. If not, you will have to pay, but I don't think it's a lot of money because, again, it's a community clinic and not a private company. Any questions or comments?
I think it's just good to have just looking at it broadly, like all the clinics that we've talked about so far. I feel like a lot of people kind of gloss over them, and they don't realize that these resources are actually available to you. Because it's good. Like if you think about it, let's say that you go out and buy condoms, like, I don't know, every month or something, right? That stacks up. Condoms can be expensive if you get them like in like boxes, and
Do you know how much they are?
they're usually like $10 to $20.
Oh.
What?
Depending on how much, depending on like how, and also the type of condom that you get.
Okay.
There's some condoms that are more like they still use like latex, but it's like a more thin latex.
Is it not as good?
It makes it more sensitive, basically. So those are more expensive because of that. And also, I mean, it's not too expensive to buy like a pack that has 50 of just like a bunch of like natural rubber latex, but a lot of people, I don't know, they just don't like natural rubber latexes because they think it's too much latex. But honestly,
What is latex?
latex is the material that the condoms are made out of.
Have
Like
latex
yeah.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I'll talk a
Some people are allergic to latex, so just keep that in mind.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've made alternatives to that, but
Yeah.
also
I only know this through medical like stuff like gloves, latex. People can get like allergies or anything like that.
Gloves have latex?
Yeah, some
Yeah.
gloves. Some gloves. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, because I think there's other gloves, right, that leave like more of like some kind of powder or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt that. I felt
Yeah,
that.
you know-
Gloves. Oh, okay.
But I think mechanics too use rubber latex gloves. Or
Like
latex.
mechanics? Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, like when they're working on cars,
Maybe.
or like when you're doing anything. I don't know. Okay, we're talking about gloves, but yeah, don't use a glove as a condom. Nah,
No.
not what we're saying here. But there's different types of condoms. They all have their different types of But honestly, a condom's a condom at the end of the day. And I'd say even if it's, let's say you're not familiar with condoms, it is worth it to try different ones out just on yourself. Just see how they feel. Just try them on and see if it doesn't have like effect on you. Like let's say you don't know you're allergic to latex or something, right?
How do you know if you're allergic to it?
You'll start. I don't know the exact symptoms.
Yeah, but for normal allergies, you can have like hives or
Like
like
red dots.
Yeah, red dots or like skin sensitivity. But I would try it on the hand.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's smart.
Okay, so if you're allergic to latex, you will notice itching, hives, and swelling.
Ooh, not fun.
So
Not
this
fun
it
at all.
talks in general. So
Yeah.
okay,
So please
interesting.
try on hand.
Just make sure you know what you're allergic to
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, it's worth it to try on some condoms if you've never tried them on before. And they can. I mean, yeah, you just don't want to. You don't want to have to spend so much money on even a condom that won't work for you. So that's why it's actually worth it to go to these clinics, get the free condoms that they have, because they usually have like different types of condoms that they give out, not just like one type. And that way you're saving money. You know what kind of condoms work best for you, and you'll just go from there. And you just save time and money. And that's the big thing. And teens, we usually have that much money lying around.
Yeah, and
to be
you can
spending.
you can get as many as you want because my mom always gets a lot for my brothers.
Hey, but it's good. It's always good to keep as many condoms as you can. But also, there's a lot of precautions that you should take. But I'm going to talk a lot more about that in the second half of the show.
And for females with periods, take advantage of the free pads and tampons that
I didn't
they
even
have.
know that was a thing.
Because it gets really expensive.
Yeah.
Personally, on my journey, like I've realized that you can get very cheap. Same thing. I don't know for condoms, for example. You can be allergic. I have a very sensitive body, so when purchasing like what do you call pads and stuff, like there's different types of pads and condoms. I mean,
Wait, what?
tampons. Sorry.
I only know about the condoms. but- okay.
Sorry, I meant to say tampons. There's different types of my brain was just like information. But there's different types, and for certain females, there's like you can be allergic to different types of pads.
I didn't even, wait.
Yeah.
So there's like,
I don't know how to explain that.
but there's cotton pads as well.
Yeah. So if you want to, for example, you want to go more to like those like higher, more, I don't want to say better pads, but they get really expensive. I'm being very honest. It's like another bill that you have monthly sometimes, and especially like for females. We all have different types of periods. Some have really heavy, some have really light. But if you're someone who has really heavy flows, you will finish a pack really quick.
Yeah.
So for teens, or if you're currently going through a situation because of the pandemic, which has affected our economic situations at home, take advantage of these clinics that offer free resources for you guys. Because, for example, females who have period, it's a must to have, pads and tampons, right? So if you have the opportunity to get free of those, go get them, and don't be afraid to go get them saying, oh my God, I'm nervous and scared. Having a period is normal. It's part of life, and don't be ashamed or don't be embarrassed of having a period. Having a period is actually really nice.
And I've heard of
Because it allows you to it plays a huge part as being
A woman.
I guess so, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I've heard of a lot of women who are like advocating to have this stuff for free.
Oh,
why
I
should?
think
Oh,
so.
damn, I wish.
Why should you
so.
guys buy it? It's
Yeah.
literally part of your body, like, that
Exactly.
you can't control. Like,
Yeah.
why are they forcing us, or why are they forcing you guys to buy
He's one
that?
of the girls.
Yeah. So I've heard again this argument that they're expensive. See, I didn't know they were
Because
that
they're
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me.
And it adds up. And like you say, it's like it adds to the rent for the month. Like, you have to buy pads and tampons and all that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, and I've also heard of girls using like the reusable ones. Or like a reusable thing.
There's
It's like isn't it like a diaper or something? Right.
it's like cloth. Basically.
yeah, and then you
Reusable
wash
pads?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you
Oh,
wash
really?
it.
My mom would actually, my mom back then was poor, and so like in Guatemala, she would just use a rag, like a cloth of rag.
I think
and
my
just
mom did
use that.
too.
Yeah, and so now they're actually doing it, but like in a shape of a pad. So that's pretty cool, but I haven't tried that.
I don't think I would try that.
Yeah, so I just want to give you guys a perspective of like the prices of pads, so you can add on, you can see. So one of the, the always ultra thin, this very popular, just one that is a 44 each. It's like 44 pack that has 44 pads. It costs around $46
for a pack of 6.
for a pack. Yeah, for a pack of 6. So imagine that on top of what your bills are.
Yeah.
You can add up that, and it's pretty expensive. And there are alternatives. Again, you guys
Yeah.
mentioned that. There's also
The cup.
the cup that was made in Canada. The cup, the first
yeah.
cup.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. I don't.
So there are options. And if you don't know about the alternatives, go to the clinics and ask them about, hey, what are other forms of to work with my period, right? So they're going to talk to you guys about the
Yeah.
cups. I didn't know the ones you guys mentioned.
There's also diapers too if people have
I
heavy
had
flows.
no idea. I did not know
I
that.
didn't know about the diaper.
There's diapers.
I've known about
Yeah.
So there are options for all of you guys. And like I said, I really want to emphasize that don't be embarrassed about asking questions regarding your period or regarding about your body, because it is your body. So it's good for you to know what you can do with your body, right? So
Yeah. I also recommend like if you're like nervous to go in, you can always ask a friend and hopefully they can come with you and they can get free pads as well,
yeah.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Do you guys have any last words before we play the song?
No, I think that was good. I think that was a good way to end for the first half of the show. All right.
Right.
Walking all the lines between what's real. I was never told how to feel. Bridges burning down beneath us now. We're not alive if we're not online. Why are we still here? Thought we were in the clear. We're not controlled by headlights or headlines. We live online, no wrong or right. This is the new age. Don't wanna play it safe, but we scrape at the walls. All these unspoken rules. I wonder what it's like living on the outside. Feels like everyone is out to get you. Silent rules pretend that they're the truth. This is the new age where we can't feel a thing.
Welcome back, everybody. We're so excited to be able to play again music from an artist, from a local artist. So if you are someone who creates art through music and you want us to play it on the show, please contact us via DM on Instagram, Facebook, or on YouTube. Comments, I guess, at Tay Radio Marin for us to be able to support you guys. With that being said, kind of talking about protection and learning more about resources that are out there for you guys, I want to focus on talking about what is consent and what is not consent. And I had to Google a definition of consent because I don't want to give the wrong information, and I'm going to read kind of what I got from my research. So it says, consent is an agreement between participants to engage in sexual activity. Consent should be clearly and freely communicated. A verbal and affirmative expression of consent can help both you and your partner to understand and respect each other's boundaries. Okay? And basically what that means is I need to say yes. Right? If you need to say yes to be able to say, yeah, she gave me full consent, or he gave me full consent. And I want to kind of also take what who can't give consent. I'm doing that because it's kind of weird. When I'm going to read it, you guys will understand. Consent cannot be given by an individual who is underage. So if you talk to, let's say, someone who's like 10 and you're like, oh, I got to consent, because they say yes, they're a minor, right? So
anyone under 18 is a minor.
Yeah, basically.
So if you're like a 21-year-old guy who's talking to like a 15-year-old girl and you say that, oh, she gave me consent, that's not okay.
There's like, so I did this because there's like certain, it's kind of weird.
Well, it's a thing. It's a thing that happens. It's very, very true, and I don't think enough people get called out for it.
Yeah,
honestly.
And then there's the part of intoxication or incapacitated by drugs or alcohol, or asleep or unconscious. So basically, if someone is drunk and someone takes advantage of you, or you take advantage of someone, that would not be considered as consent because they're not 100% in their right mind.
And then
Yep. If so basically that's what that means. So when you're engaging in a sexual activity, consent is basically about communication with the person that you're going to have sexual activities with. And it doesn't have to necessarily mean straight and going really deep. It can also mean just kissing. Just so I thought that was surprising.
I mean, like any kind of like, or even
I feel like
just someone
anything.
touching you.
Yeah, I feel like
literally
touching.
like hugging you or touching you and anything like that. That all has to come with consent. You know?
So you have to be able to say okay, and then
even dancing. I even saw like a TikTok where someone would ask them if they want to dance.
Yeah, so nobody can force you to basically do anything that you're not comfortable with. Yeah. And if you say yes, and then in the middle of something you say you can change your mind at any time. Just because you said yes at the beginning doesn't mean you have to commit and go all the way until the end. No, it means that you can say yes to something, but if at any time you feel uncomfortable or if you don't feel safe, you have the power to say stop.
Yep.
That
exactly.
is up to you. You can, like I said, you can withdraw out of anything that you said. And then I want to talk about lately what people have been talking about is what is looking for the presence of a yes rather than the absence of a no. So for people, sometimes they get confused. Well, she never said no and she never said yes. Where does that follow? Or a guy can say that too. So basically what people have been saying that consent can look like this. So I'm going to give you guys some scenarios so you guys can kind of listen. Asking permission before you change the type or degree of sexual activity with a phrase like, is this okay? And if the person says, yes, it's okay, or yes, you're getting a confirmation, right? Or a consent, not confirmation, consent. Confirming that there is in reciprocal interest before initiating any activity, any physical touching, letting your partner know that you can stop at any time, constantly checking your partner, asking if they are okay, providing positive feedback when you're comfortable with an activity, agreeing to either saying yes or like I'm open to trying new things. All of that. So it does not look like this. Refuses to acknowledge a no. A partner who is disengaged or non-responsive or visibly upset. Assuming that wearing certain clothes, flirting or kissing is an initiative for anything more. So this is a huge one. So just because someone is wearing a very tight dress or a very type of clothing doesn't mean that they're giving you permission to do anything, if that makes any sense.
Or the color of like clothes of what they're wearing, anything like
yes,
that. Yeah.
that's basically what it's saying. And then someone being under the legal age of consent. So by defined, depends on the state, but I believe, I don't know, California. I remember if it was 16 or 18. There's like different ones. Certain.
What the age of consent is?
Yeah.
In California, it's 18.
Is it 18? Okay, because there's certain states have different ones.
Different ones.
Yeah.
Even different countries have different. Yeah. It is a consent, but yep.
Okay, so assuming you have permission to engage in a sexual activity because you've done it in the past. Also, if you are in a relationship, just because you're dating the person doesn't mean you have permission to do whatever you want. it has to come from you. So kind of going back to the quote of the week is that you have to be 100% sure of what you're doing, and if along the way you don't feel 100% sure, it's okay to say stop. I don't want to kiss. Well, I don't want you to touch me. I don't feel safe. Right. The most important thing about consent is communication, and for you individually to feel safe and confident about what.
Yeah.
And I did want to mention that when you were talking about that consent is always, it's a recurring thing that can happen at literally any time. Like if you're engaging in sexual activity and at any point when you're like, doing that, people come up with safe words sometimes during
Ooh,
sex.
that's a good one.
So basically, if at some point during sex you don't feel comfortable or you don't like what's about to happen or what's going on, then you just say the safe word, and then both parties are like, okay, that's not okay. But then that way it doesn't kill like the flow of whatever's going on. So that's why a lot of people come up with safe words. Just to have everyone kind of like both parties like understanding, okay, this is not okay and this is your boundaries, during when you guys are having sex. So that's very important. Safe words are very important to come up with.
Yeah, and I know that you mentioned like if they say yes, it means a yes, but there's also people who like force them to say yes in a way.
Yeah, like they keep saying, come on.
Yeah,
like,
and that's
stuff like that.
pressuring them to say yes, and when in reality they want to say no.
Yeah, so you can't, if you're doing something, if you're saying yes under pressure, that means that it's not consent from you.
Yeah.
And let's be very explicit here. If you do not consent to something like this, to sexual activity, and it happens, that's rape.
Yeah.
It's straight up rape.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And again, there's been, how we all feel about rape. It's terrible, and I never wish that on anybody to have to experience something like that. But unfortunately, it's something that happens when usually when someone's intoxicated. Let's say, again, bringing that example up, if someone's intoxicated and they can't consent to whatever's about to happen to them, you just rape that person, and if you intentionally, like, I don't know if you guys hear about like at nightclubs, a lot of guys, they usually slip in like some kind of drug when they're giving girls drinks and stuff so that they can get them, all woozy, and then they could just take them home and literally rape them. Like, it's terrible. Like, it's absolutely terrible, and it's something that happens.
Thank you for bringing that up. And I just wanted to put a phone number, National Sexual Assault Hotline, for those if you've ever experienced something forced or something traumatic and you're trying, that really does affect someone. So and it's not okay that happens to anyone. So I want to give the number. It's 800-656-4673. Again, it's 800-656-4673. Just for you guys to have that as a hotline. Hopefully you don't have to use it, but if you do, it's out there for you.
Yeah.
With that being said, pass it on to Javier.
All right. Thank you, Santi. So going back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show about condoms, I kind of just wanted to go a little into more detail as to why you should use a condom. Condoms are literally the best way to protect yourself against STDs. And STDs are no joke. Once you catch an STD, it can affect, well, you can still live like a normal life with an STD, but it's going to always kind of be with you. It's always going to be something that you're going to carry around, and you need to respect the fact that it can be transmitted to other people. So, condoms,
I also wanted to note that condoms can prevent STDs, but there's also like HPVs, which is a skin contact disease that can be transmitted through sexual intercourse. So just keep that in mind, and
also just to go off of what you just said too, another way that you can get an STD isn't just through vaginal sex. It could be through oral sex as well. It can be transmitted through there, and just note that again, even if you're going into the act of sex, there's always that risk. That's why it's good to consent, and also understand that both parties have gotten tested before, or are very honest with how many partners they've had in the past, because that can influence all sorts of things during sex and can lead, again, just to be as safe as possible. Condoms are a barrier birth control that is made from latex rubber, as I was saying before. And it can also be made from a synthetic rubber called polyisoprene, or a very thin plastic called polyurethane. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, like you're saying, there are alternatives to rubber condoms for people who are allergic to latex and rubber. So this is condoms are available for both males and females. And I don't know, Annalie, I think you mentioned that you didn't know that they made condoms for females before.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they exist.
They're weird though.
Yeah, they're
I've seen them. They're like
they're kind of they're pretty big. Yeah,
I've heard of them, but I didn't know they were that big.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, but more commonly, it's that guys wear the condoms usually. But I mean, it's also a good idea to just have another condom on the lady as well. So that I'm saying.
Note on that though.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that if the female wears a condom and the opposite sex should not wear a condom, because you can't do rubber on rubber, because it breaks.
Yes, you're right.
Just to clarify that.
You are very, very true. Thank you for bringing that up. I almost
Just
missed
to
that.
clarify.
Yeah, so it's either or, basically.
Yeah.
It's either or. No, thank you so much for bringing that up, because that's really important too. Because the one thing that you don't want is a condom ripping. You do not want that, because it literally defeats the purpose of the condom. So they are. So condoms are generally very easy to obtain too, which is why it makes them so great as a protection and a good way to just have sex safely. Is just because condoms are available literally at your convenience stores, pharmacies, gas stations, and are given for free, again, at the clinics that we just talked about. But another thing that I would really, really like to talk about condoms is, I know a lot of guys, they like to bring around like a couple condoms and put them in their wallets, or like leave them.
That's not a good idea.
Or leave them in like a space in the car. Terrible. Absolutely terrible places to put your condoms. Because
why?
For one,
because they can break. They're like more likely for them to rip during sex.
Yep. And also the moisture that's created with them around it can lead to ripping, and also they expire. I don't know if you guys knew condoms expire.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the lubricant.
Yeah, the lubricant that's in them, and also they're just less effective. Again, just. And the freshest condom is the best condom. So a condom
gotcha.
A condom that you leave in a place where there isn't too much like change in temperature is good.
Like in your house in a bowl.
Like in a house. Because if you leave it in your car, it's going to.
There's so much
that's going to happen to the condom during that time that it's not. You're going to lead to the risk of it ripping, and you do not want it to rip. So that's why it's better to keep your condoms safe in in your room where it doesn't get too hot, or just in any place where it's reliably like the temperature is reliable.
Space.
Yeah, openish space where it's not going to get like extreme temperature changes or anything like that, because that will lead to the condom being more just less effective. Yeah. So now I'm going to talk about birth control pills. So birth control pills are a medicine with hormones that stop ovulation. And when there's no ovulation, there are no eggs to be fertilized. So therefore, you can't get pregnant. So pregnancy cannot occur if you take birth controls. And birth control pills come in a pack. So they usually come in like 30-day packs, 90-day packs, depending on, how many months you want to stay infertile. But you can take, there's two different types of pills. So there are combination pills and there's progestin only pills. So combination pills have two hormones, estrogen and progestin, and these are the most common birth control pills. as long as you take them every day, you'll be protected from pregnancy. You don't have to take your combination pills at the same time every day, but you should try to, as it will create like a habit of you having to take them every day, right? So you don't miss a day. Progestin pills are the other type of birth control pills, and those contain only one kind of hormone, which is, well, progestin. And unlike the combination pills, which have estrogen in them, you have to take these basically every day still, but at the same time. So, you have a 3-hour window. So let's say you take it at 1 p.m. on Monday, right? The next day, you have a 3-hour window. So you have from 1, 2 to 3 p.m. to take the pill again. As long as you keep taking the pill at around the same, like at the same time, basically, you'll be fine. But if you don't, then it won't do anything.
Yeah, and if you don't want the pill, you can also get what is it?
The shot.
The shot.
There's a shot. Yeah.
And there's some other thing, right?
There's the copper one.
There's like a shot where you get it like every few months, and then there's one where like you stay in for like 3 years or something.
There's also the tea.
Oh yeah.
The one that goes.
I think there's the Nexplanon. That's one of them that they do. That it's in your arm.
Yeah, I don't know. But I know that
I've
there's like a
heard
shot.
of the one that you guys are talking about, where
Yeah.
they basically put like an implant thing here.
Yeah,
Or
but
that-
I recommend like researching what's the side effects of those.
Exactly.
Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of side
There's a lot.
Like I mentioned, every body is different. So make sure you go to the resources out there, so the clinics, and talk to them about and ask them question. When it comes to putting things in your body, ask as many questions as you want, right? To make sure that what you're doing for your body is good and safe. But keeping in mind that if you are not ready to have a baby, to also be knowing what type of protections there are for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what works best. Because
Yes.
there's a lot of different preventatives. But the reason why we're talking about all of this is to make sure that everyone is more informed of sexual health, because we don't want it to be like a taboo topic or like an awkward conversation, because I feel like it should be talked about. Like, it shouldn't be awkward, and I think it's better if you're more informed. And I feel like if you're more informed, it goes more smoothly. And I wanted to talk more about how you can approach your partner and ask if they've been tested. I know this is can be an awkward conversation if you don't know how to approach them or to ask this question. But there's no correct way on how to approach them with this kind of conversation. Everyone has different reactions and different ways to communicate. But I wanted to share some helpful tips that I learned from like different organizations online. So be sure to find the correct timing to talk about testing and why you want to have a safe sex. When I say correct timing, I mean not to have it right when you're about to have sex, because your hormones are up. So like I feel like your guard will be down. So it's best for you to talk when when you guys are calm and when you guys are feeling open to talk about this situation, because it is like a sensitive topic for some people, because if they do have STIs, it is it's personal information because it's their illness. So, and just like try not to judge one another or anything like that. Keep it a safe conversation. Make each other feel safe in a way that you guys are talking and making sure what's going on with both of each other. And if you're more open to talking to your partner, and you're having a relaxed attitude, that makes the conversation have less tense. And you don't want your partner to lie that they did get tested. You want them to tell you the truth. So it's best to have a conversation that has less tension.
Yeah.
And it is true that everyone has like different reactions. So just know that some people might need some time to digest the information if someone does have an STI. I've seen like a lot of on the internet that a lot of people would leave their person if they had an STI. And I feel like people who do have an STI are afraid to talk about that they do have an STI, but it's important to be honest to your partner because communication is a big part in your relationship. So just be honest, and then once you're honest, you give the opportunity to the person, your other partner, to decide what they want to do with their health and safety, and then just go on from there. Also, if they do have an STI, you guys can also like talk to your doctors on different ways on how you can have safe sex. I know we mentioned condoms, which can prevent some of the STIs. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say about how to approach a partner with that. But Kimberly, did you want to talk more about how we can get tested for STIs?
Yeah, I will be talking about what you need to get tested and why you should get tested for STDs. It's very important to get tested for STDs because it can cause serious health problems if you don't treat them. And STDs if you have an STD, it's most likely for you to give it to others, such as HIV, chlamydia, herpes, and many others. Getting tested can also help you avoid getting it to other people. I already said that. If you were sexually active, you should get tested on a regular basis because you never know what your partners could be carrying. So always be safe. And if you don't want to get tested, you could just use condoms. Right or no?
That's
It's not the
a
same
question
thing.
I'm not actually sure,
Okay.
Annalie. Are you sure about that? Like if so let's say the partner has an STD, but you guys use a condom. It's not 100. I don't think it's 100%.
It's not 100%, but it does provide like a safety barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's recommended to always talk to a doctor to get professional information about that.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
Okay, and all you need to get tested is a blood sample from either a blood drawn or a finger prick, a urine sample or a swab of the inside of your mouth, a swab from the genitals, such as the urethra and guys, or the cervix on girls. And some Planned Parenthood centers provide STD testing for free. And then STDs are infections that are passed from one person to another during sexual activity. Anybody who has oral sex, anal sex, vaginal sex, genetical skin-to-skin contact, or who shares sexual fluids with another person can get STDs.
Yep.
Yeah, so STDs is the same as STIs.
Yeah, there's like
they're
different.
interchangeable.
There's different types of STDs.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are carried in fluids like semen, vaginal fluids, and bloods, and can be passed on by skin-to-skin touching on infected areas on your body. It's like blood, right? Like if you're like bleeding, and then
I mean, like any like let's say you start having like bumps or something like in your mouth or something. I know that's a common side effect of herpes. And if you were to kiss someone with knowing that they had this kind of bumps in their mouth, it can lead to you getting that too. So they're very, very easy to spread, STDs. Like once you get them, and sometimes a lot of people don't know that they have an STD because sometimes they're literally just there's no side effects, but you have an STD. And those side effects can be bigger on other people, because everyone's body's different.
Yeah, there's a lot of different types of STDs.
Well, I wanted to clarify that STI means sexual transmission infection, and STDs are sexually transmitted diseases.
Uh-huh.
So that's the difference between, because it's disease and infection.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Infection can be easily cured, and then the disease isn't, right?
a disease is like carried on.
Yeah, and then the infection can be slowly cured. Right.
Yeah. Well, it depends like what the infection is. Like bacteria infection, you need to take antibiotics for that. Yeah.
Okay.
And just to clarify, if a female has birth control, that does not protect you from any STDs or STIs.
Yeah, because it's an external thing. It's
Yeah,
not.
so just
it's not
because
like,
I know we didn't mention that, so just let's say if your partner has is on the pill or has the shot or anything, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're protected from any STIs or
Yeah.
STDs because you're still having skin on skin contact.
Exactly.
If that makes any sense.
But yeah, any last minute thoughts?
I was just gonna say, in general, if you don't want to get STDs or anything, use condoms. Safer
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, condoms are always safe. I know a lot of people like
And make
to-
sure to talk. And if you don't, then talk about it with your partner.
Exactly. And even though a lot of guys like to just not use a condom when their girl is on birth control pills because they're like, oh, well, I don't need it because
Yeah.
I'm not going to get them pregnant. Well, you can still catch STDs or create an STD by doing that. So,
And there's also women who can forget to take their birth controls, and that can lead to
literally, yeah,
Get
exactly.
pregnant.
So,
Yeah.
and also one thing I forgot to mention too is that if you shave, let's say you shave like around your vagina or you shave around your penis, that increases the chances of you getting an STD or an STI because you're exposing more of that skin that's like in your private areas, and that STDs can be transmitted even more because they have all that skin that's open basically.
I did not
yeah.
I didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
so that's why.
Interesting.
I thought you were
Like-
gonna say like the condom would break.
No, but it will increase the rate
I
of
see what
in
you're
which you can
doing.
catch an STD.
Okay.
So
Well, for my part, since I talked about consent, I want to say if you are currently touching on with what Annalie said, the reason why we want to talk about this is because we want you guys to be informed and educated so you guys can prevent from, if you're not ready to have a baby, like prevent that from happening.
Yep.
As well
Or
as
infections.
yes, as well as
infections,
being
yeah.
able to protect your body. Your body is so sacred, and so you have 100% control to decide, like what's the best option for you.
Yeah.
Because in the society that we're currently in, there's so many back and forth about what's right, what's wrong. But I think just knowing what your current situation is truly, I think, the best way you can decide what you want.
What you want? Yeah.
Yeah. So, however, stuff happen. Bad people are out there. Unfortunately, the world is not 100%, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need someone to talk to about an experience that has happened to you, or if you're currently under any type of relationship that you are currently struggling in, I think we had a show on Maya. I was trying to search up the information
Yeah.
on Maya.
Maya.
You can search up Maya, which is also
Marin
designed.
against
Youth
youth abuse.
Yes, because when we talk about consent, there's so many different factors and so many things that can come with that. So just know that you're beautiful and you're one of a kind and you are valued, so you're worth so much. So no one has the right to tell you or make you feel a certain way because your body, like I said, is so sacred. So stay true to yourself. And if you don't feel comfortable about doing something, please don't be embarrassed to say no, right?
Yeah.
You say it with confidence, no. Because, it's,
Consent is important. No,
Yeah.
I totally get it.
yeah.
So-
just want to really emphasize that
Yeah.
for both men and women. I'm not just talking about women, also men. I know that, like I said, things happen. People are out there. But yeah, those are my last words.
All right. Yeah, I think that's it from us for now. Just stay safe out there, and
That's it for today's show.
yeah.
Yeah. We hope
you.
you guys learned so much as we did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we all learned.
We all learned
That's
a lot of things.
And don't feel scared to talk about this with your partner either. Like if you're going out with someone, because this is important to know. So, all right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Take care.